Good evening and welcome to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for round 7 of Tier 1 PS4 on Apex Online Racing, sponsored by Hype Energy. My name is Mark, aka Gaming Alamonda. My normal lead commentary partner, Ali Kidd, is absent for this evening's race, so I have the pleasure of your company for what promises to be a thrilling race around one of the classic Formula 1 circuits. So, looks like it's foggy, fairly misty conditions, but dry nonetheless for this short qualifying session of 18 minutes, followed by 35 laps of a track named after one of Canada's greatest ever racing drivers, the father of Jacques Villeneuve, of course, who won the Formula 1 World Championship in 1997 with that infamous title decider in Jerez up against Michael Schumacher. So, having a look at the championship situation, let's have a look then. So, it is Dominic Hoffman, aka NGG Freak, who leads the championship on 90 points with a 6-point advantage to Michael on 84 points, then 76 points for Diego Killer in third place representing Red Bull. And then it is the reigning champion Williams Alex, who is on 66 points, and then making up the top 5 is the other Mercedes driver of Ollie D on 61 points. And then in the team championship, Mercedes hold a healthy advantage at the top of the standings, 151 points for their two drivers, with a 41-point advantage to the McLaren pairing of Michael and Flores on 110 points. And then making up the rest of the top 5 is Red Bull on 96, Williams on 90, and the Haas team on 62 points. And all the way down at the bottom in the battle to avoid the wooden spoon, Sauber on 6 points and Renault on 1. So they'll be hoping for good things today here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve as the drivers go out then for their first runs. And according to our resident weatherman Curly Whirly, we are going to have a dry race here, so we will see the maximum speeds available for these particular F1 2018 cars. Now, this particular track has one of the shortest pit lanes, so the 1 and 2 stop, dependent on traffic, could be equally viable here. Our free tyre compounds will be the Hypersofts, Ultrasofts and Supersoft compounds, so those starting on the Hypersoft compounds, should they choose to use it in qualifying, will perhaps be looking to do the 1 stop, or so we'll be going, you know, probably up to lap 10, then pitting for the Supersofts to go to the end. Or alternatively, they might even try and do a double stop of Hypersofts and 2 Ultrasofts. So it's really going to be interesting, because the reason why the pit lane is so short here is because the exit cuts out the entirety of the opening 2 corners. So you could see some side-by-side action as someone exits the pits. So if Ali is watching this, as he's hard at work on whatever he's doing, I hope you enjoy the race, as indeed I hope everyone else who's watching this. This is the first time I've actually done a lead AOR stream, so I've really been looking forward to it. Wasn't sure it was going to be in these circumstances, but I will do the best of what I've got with the old school onboard PS4 system, as Curly Whirly retires from the session. So that's already an early casualty. Whether he just thinks he's not quick enough and he's going to start from the back on the turn strategy remains to be seen. So 107.953, early pace then from the reigning champion Alex. So warm welcome to those of you who are watching already. Let us know in the chat what your predictions are for pole position, and top 3 for the race I will ask for after the session's over. Just over 14.5 minutes of the session to go, as the Williams teammate of Alex, Nardi, goes slightly quicker with 107.901. Let's have a quick look then at what tyres they're using. So it's Hypersoft so far being used in the top 7. Not sure at this point if this is representative of the true pace, but we will find out momentarily. Only 8 drivers set a time so far, but we have some Ultrasoft times come in. Jarno and Aracy 108.473 and 520 respectively, and Alex 112.833, certainly not a representative time for any of the compounds, let alone Hypersoft. So the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve then, always one of my favourite tracks to watch racing and indeed to drive on in real life. 4.3 kilometres. We're at full throttle here, but 59% of the lap. And in terms of DRS zones, we have a double DRS zone here in Sector 3 and Sector 1. And there's also, in 2018, a new DRS zone, which is between the exit of Sector 1 all the way to the fast right and left-hander, the second chicane on the lap. So we could see some overtakes there. And apparently Curly did some sort of crash. which he describes in the team radio as one of the dumbest things he's ever done in a league race. Well, hopefully he'll be able to regain some places. So let's have a look at some on-track action as Alex sets a 1:07.890, trying to avoid the McLaren. Is that Flores coming out of the pit lane? Let's have a look. Here's Michael actually coming out for his first action of the day. Now, I've had to do this all last minute, so I'm actually trying to find a circuit map, because, you know, remembering 21 tracks on the game is tricky at times. Let's enjoy a few laps from the splendid orange McLaren as Michael heads down towards the hairpin, which will be a source of many overtakes. But again, good traction now of this corner on defence and attack will be very vital, because here is the back straight, which will surely be the biggest source of overtaking action. We could see 2, maybe even 3 wide action going into the chicane, which will be the heaviest braking zone on the track. And the chicane goes, being careful not to invalidate. Ooh, nearly collecting the wall of champions, but just about getting away with it. So here we go then. Into turn 1 they go, trying to take a... Oh, he goes slightly deep into the corner actually. That will compromise him for his exit on turn 2, but that gets the traction down nicely, so probably didn't lose too much time there. And through the first chicane, very easy to get an invalidation there, but I think Michael's absolutely safe. Heading into the end of sector 1 then. And onto that third DRS zone I mentioned earlier. The wing should be open, and it is indeed. It's got it on overtake mode at the moment, as you can see from the 4 battery. Then puts it back down to 3 to allow him to slow down the car. Oh, and the back end sliding a little bit. Spectacular action from the McLaren there. Heading down into the hairpin. Getting it slowed down. It's always a wide entry and then a tight apex to get the maximum traction out of the corner, then onto the back straight. This straight seems to go on forever, and then suddenly the chicane's right there, catches you out. So you have to look for the marker boards on the left-hand side, judge your braking point, and then that's an absolutely brilliant exit out of the chicane. That's given him the maximum drive he wants, heading for the line, and it's going to be a 1:08.801 on the Ultra Softs, the fastest Ultra Soft time so far today in this qualifying session. Just over 10 minutes of the session to go. So that was a really nice lap from Michael. I think he would have wanted a slightly better turn 1 and 2. But outside of that, it was a marvellous lap there on the Ultra Softs. Whether that will be good enough to stay in 4th place remains to be seen. Still got 6 drivers, not including Curly, who's retired early on, of course, who haven't set a time, including the championship leader. So I wonder if Freak is waiting for the very last minute to do a run on the Ultra Softs, because he hasn't come out yet. Just seems to be happy enough to watch the action and see what other drivers are doing. So it's a fair mix so far in the top 7. But, you know, likes of Alonso, Flores, still looking for positive results this season. So looking back at Monaco, I had a watch of the Monaco Grand Prix, really entertaining race, and it was Freak who took the lead of the championship with victory there, which was his 2nd win of the season. He won at Bahrain. He also, and we've had, you know, a fair mix of winners this season. You know, Michael's won a race, and then Deagle's won a race as well. Lucas Blakely's won a race, and Curly, of course, famously winning at China as well. And there's enough talent in this field which would suggest we might get another winner this week. But one driver who will be looking certainly to open his account in terms of wins this season will be the reigning champion, Williams Alex. But, you know, his form has been good enough. He's still in there, still very early days this season, as Williams Nardi goes quicker with a 1:07.430. Let's have a quick look at the gaps. Very close between himself and Jarno, but you just get the sense they're holding back a little bit on these Hypersofts. So I think we will see a lot of Ultrasoft runs at the end of this session, because if you can get into the top 10 on the Ultrasofts, that will give you quite a strategic advantage. It gives you more options going into the race. You know, depending on the situation, where we get a safety car or we get, you know, a gap for them to pit in, it can open up the door for 1-stop and 2-stop strategies. this is Army Dammy. Is he coming in on an in-lap, or is this going to be a proper run? This might be an in-lap actually. No, it is a run actually. Goes through the final corner. Oh my goodness. It's a very short run to the start-finish straight. What's this going to be? It's not an improvement in terms of his position. As Epic Gamer goes up to 8th position. We've seen some great qualifying sessions from Epic this season. So far he's only 8th position. He's actually just behind Michael though in terms of the Ultrasoft runners, but now he's on the Hypersofts. So it'll be interesting to see what he does on those, because he's been a real qualifying specialist so far this season. It's on an in-lap to see if there's anyone. Alberto currently in P5. Now he's on the Hypersofts. Anyone in the pit lane fitting the Ultras? Not at the moment. Alex, let's go on board them with the reigning champion, Alex. It's flat out to turn 1. Nice open view of the corners, and in comparison to Michael on the Ultras, he didn't go deep. He got a good line out of that, so I think he had a slight advantage there in terms of the opening corners. Then heading through turns 3, 4, 5, then into turn 6 at the end of sector 1. Don't want to take too much curb there, can really unbalance the car if you take too much curb out the end of sector 1. Taps the wall slightly as he opens up the DRS, heading into turn 8 and 9, which in my opinion is one of the trickier parts of the track, because you have to take so much speed through there, otherwise you lose time, but you do risk hitting the wall on the right hand side and damaging your wing if you take too much space. There's a red ball off the track ahead, not sure who that is, and it continues. Oh, the back end sliding out. Now he'll open up the wing, and he might actually get a bit of a toe from the red ball ahead if he's close enough. Maybe not that much. Don't think he's quite close enough. Now he's got to get the car slowed down for the chicane. Goes down all the way to gear 4, and then gets it out. Keeps to the right as much as possible to narrow the distance to the line. And what's it going to be? It's going to be, well, he didn't improve by the looks of it. So he was unable to go quicker. As Yano Racing does a 107.181. And Epic Gamer's also just gone up to 3rd. So this qualifying session really starting to heat up, but at the moment the reigning champion not able to improve on the Ultrasofts. So he's going to have to come back to the pits and maybe change his strategy and go on to the Hypersofts. So just to remind you, in case you're wondering why Ali Kid's voice changed, it hasn't. It's his normal commentator partner, Gaming Alamonda, who's taken over for him today. So you're hearing a lot more of my voice than normal. So hopefully this will be an enjoyable broadcast for you. And if you enjoyed this race, please leave a like and subscribe to the AOR channel for more hype energy F1 action. So let's have a look then. Williams heading to the pits. Who else is out there at the moment? Flores is up to 3rd. What about Nardi? Is Nardi doing anything at the moment? Nardi's on a lap, so let's see what Nardi can do. Alex's teammate. So Flores has actually done a really impressive time on the Ultrasofts. Less than 3/10 off the current best, but here comes Nardi. No, back into the pits, looking to put another tyre on. So let's see. Alex back into the pits on Ultrasofts. And now the championship leader emerges, and as I suspected, he's gone out onto the Ultrasoft. So this is going to be a key lap in this qualifying session. The championship leader, fresh off his victory at Monaco last week, looking to get to the front of the field and try and win this race to establish more of a gap. It's only a 6-point advantage he has to VGIA Michael at the moment in Tier 1 of AOR on PS4. So we're nearly on the verge of going under the 1-minute 7s. A lot of people suggesting before this race that a 1-7 flat would be possible at the very least. But let's keep an eye on Freak then. Freak then heading into the opening section of corners then. Takes a bit of curb. Good line there. Keeps a nice tight apex out of turn 2. And now the first of these 3 tricky chicanes on this track. Looks for the marker on the left hand side. Has to come off the gas a little bit just to make sure the car was lined up nicely. Now into the end of sector 1. Wants to take a good exit here. Going into turn 6 and 7. Now flying up with the DRS wing open, trying to avoid the traffic. They get well out of his way. Into turn 8 and 9. Gets it slowed down. Ooh, the car drifting left slightly, and he taps the wall on the right hand side. I mentioned that earlier. You know, it's such a difficult chicane. I would say it's the most difficult of the three. Oh, a lock of the front tyres. Not as much grip on these, of course, as the Hypersoft tyres that some of the other drivers are using, but Freak looking to be at least the fastest of the Ultrasoft runners. The wing opens and heading in towards the chicane. Can he get the car slowed down? Flies through the chicane, doesn't want to hit the wall of champions, which might prove to be a bit of an obstacle. So heading for the line then, and it is, oh, Freak, it's 1 second off the pace. Only 12th for the championship leader, and he's not going to have enough time to get back to set the time on the Hypersoft. So the championship leader is struggling in this session, and he may have to start from outside the top 10. And his Mercedes teammate also not having an easy day, but he's on the Hypersofts. So what is everyone doing then? So it looks like mostly Hypersofts being deployed, but Freak, it looks like a steady lap, but there wasn't much speed there. Which means at the moment, Flores' time on the Ultrasofts looks fantastic indeed, but surprisingly, he's gone out for a run on the Hypersofts. You would think strategically, he's probably done enough to get into the top 10 on that and have a strategic advantage, but no, he's wanting that pole position, and I can respect that. So let's have a look then. Let's look for Williams. Nardi's on the lap, just going through the opening section of corners. Who else is out there? Epic Gamer as well. Epic Gamer heading towards the hairpin, so we'll keep an eye on him first. Got over 100 watching. As ever, thanks very much for your support of this league. It's always appreciated from top to bottom in terms of the admin team, commentators and the drivers, of course. So Epic Gamer then. He's had several pole positions this season. Can he get another one? Heading into the final chicane. Can he get it slowed down? He does. He actually goes into 5th gear, so he's putting it all on the line. Heading for the line. Epic Gamer crosses the line, and it's 107.001. Nearly 2 tenths quicker. Once again, the 1 lap pace of Epic, very impressive. But look at this. Getting a tow. Teamwork here from the Williams drivers, trying to get Nardi onto the front row at least. Can he get the car slowed down? He might have cut it, and he hits the wall, and I think that attempt to tow it may have cost him. Yeah, I think he invalidated, and I don't think there's going to be time for another lap. Well, actually, he did cross the line just before, but won't have the tyre life. So here comes Yano Racing, who's having a really impressive qualifying session here today. Can he get a tow from the Red Bull up ahead? 107.001 is the one to beat. Took so much speed, he's got minimal fuel. Hopefully he's not going to run out before the line. Gets a tow off the Red Bull ahead, and he goes second. He didn't improve actually. Might have invalidated. Anyone else out there? What about Deagle? Currently 3rd in the championship? No, he is well down. Anyone else out there? What about Michael? Currently 2nd in the championship. He needs to get a lap right here, because his championship rival, just above him, 6 points in the championship, is starting P16 by the looks of it. He's had a woeful qualifying session, didn't get the Ultrasoft lap right, and here comes Michael going through the final second corners. Can he get into the top 10 on the Hypersofts? The back end trying to pitch him towards the left. Michael crosses the line, and it's only P11. Wow, only P11, but that's actually not a bad position to be for the alternate strategy. So maybe he backed off somewhere in the lap. But a very interesting qualifying session, but a familiar figure in pole position in Epic Gamer. So does anyone else know? I think that is the end of the session, so we're just waiting for the session to come to an end. We will give you your full qualifying results. But a great lap from Epic to take away the pole position from Yano Racing. So here we are then. Epic Gamer pole position for Haas with Jarno Racing making up the front row. Row 2 we have Williams, Nardi and Flores, then Army Danny G in 5th. But Flores in particular, probably the star of qualifying, only half a second off the pole time on the Ultrasofts. Deal Killer having a good session on the Ultrasofts as well. So those two, if they can stay out of trouble, will have quite the strategic advantage. And then making up the top 10 is Deagle, Ollie D, Alex, Clarkey and Aresi. But notably, the championship leader, NTG Freak, in 16th, and Michael in second in championship could only manage P11. So it'll be very interesting to see what tyres they choose for the race itself. So we just wait for the grid to load. It's bright sunshine here at Montreal. And once we get to formation lap, we'll have a look to see what tyres those outside the top 10 will be using. Those inside the top 10, as ever, will have to use the dry tyres that they've set their best lap on during that qualifying session we just saw. So it's really intriguing. There's some drivers near the top of the championship outside the top 10, so we are going to see a lot of overtaking action. This is a track which in previous games has always offered a lot of overtaking, especially since, you know, the DRS was introduced. It seems like forever that the DRS was introduced. It's become such a part of Formula 1 now. So let's have a look then at what tyres everybody is on outside the top 10. So interestingly, very heavy use of the super soft tyres outside the top 10. So all but Michael and Freak, so the top 2 in the championship, have gone aggressive outside the top 10. They have gone for the ultra softs, but the rest of them have gone for the super softs. So that's a clear indication that those on the super softs will be looking to go on a long first stint and then go onto the ultra softs to complete a one-stop strategy. But that traffic, they'll be the slowest cars at first, but that could be a factor. Any of those in the top 10 who make an early pit stop, they will need to see if they can get a gap to those outside the top 10, because if they end up in traffic, they could lose a lot of time. As Epic Gamer then heads through, leading the pack. Doesn't want to be sitting on the grid for too long. And he, of course, won the Spanish Grand Prix, so he's already tasted the champagne on the top of the podium. And he'll be looking to make it another victory here. He's currently 6th in the championship on 59 points, 31 behind the leader. But if he could win this race, given that there's 25 points available for a victory, he could really close the gap to Michael and Freak if they can't get back into the points. So, you know, we're in early days of the championship. There's 21 races, and, you know, nothing is set in stone at this early stage, but Epic Gamer has an opportunity to sort of put himself into the mention as one of the title contenders early on in this season. And here we are then, the grid, rounding the final corner past the famous Wall of Champions, named after the 1999 Canadian Grand Prix, where we saw Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve all crash into that corner in one race. And I still remember that race, and then after that the World Champions name stuck. So here we are then, we build up. You can feel the tension in the grandstands. Here come the 5 red lights. It is Epic versus Jarno on row 1. Lights down and away we go. Wheel spin aplenty from the whole group. It's a great start by Epic Gamer to get ahead of the Force India as Nardi behind slots in. The top 4 as he were. Army Danny G fighting with Deagle into the opening section of corners. Let's have a look then. Danny is actually being overtaken by Deagle. The top 5 then flying through the opening chicane. Any change of position? No. Apart from Danny being overtaken by Deagle, it's as you were in the top 4. But look how close they are. Very similar lines. It's almost like the AI are driving these cars. Such is the accuracy from these fantastic drivers. But look at that. Jarno getting very close as we go into the middle of Sector 2. Often this corner, to get a poor exit, you can be under attack into the hairpin. But Epic and Jarno making ideal starts here. But look at that. Ollie D looking to make an attack on Danny. So we'll keep an eye on that battle behind. But let's see, can can Jarno get closer? Epic ahead. No DRS yet until the third lap of this race. Freak has not gained any positions so far, but Michael has gained a place at the expense of Aresi. So he's got past the Toro Rosso driver and into the points. It's very close so far as Epic goes on his way. Let's have a look at Ollie D. Close it all up ahead. Look at Danny trying to get back at Deagle Gear. They go side by side through the opening corners. Hyper soft tyres on Danny. Ultra softs on Deagle. So Deagle will be vulnerable for a few laps at least on those inferior compounds. But if he can keep ahead, he will have a big advantage as Ollie gets all out of shape out of turn 3. And now he's looking under attack from the veteran Alex. And Michael right there with Alex. Let's have a quick look at that. Where is Michael? Michael's actually dropped back behind the Toro Rosso of Clarkey, so they're, you know, threatening to go free ride for a few moments there, but not quite. They slot in the end. But Michael was up to 8th momentarily, but now he's back down to where he was before. Can he go for a move down the inside of it? Oh, he is going to go for it. Oh, there's contact between the Toro Rosso and Michael, but it's fairly light contact, no damage there. Now Michael's going to try and get past the Toro Rosso. He's got to get a move on. Freak is still in 16th place, so he's just sort of biding his time at the moment. They're going side by side. There's no way Michael's going to be able to go around the outside and chicane. So he's going to have to back off for the time being. We will go back up front as Jarno sets the fastest lap of the race. Let's have a look at Flores, currently in P4, right behind the top 4, breaking away slightly from Deagle and Danny MG. If it's this close to the whole race, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a classic fast and furious affair at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. It looks like Ollie D, it's past Danny G. We're going to keep an eye on this battle just to see what happens, because DRS is now enabled. 3 laps are flying by already. Such a short lap here, of course. And all of the top 4, indeed the top 5, will be in DRS range. They've dropped Ollie D by 2 seconds, so now let's see what Jarno can do in terms of the DRS. Let's put the telemetry on, see what mode he's going to put the battery in. Comparing their battery, oh, Epic Gamer has significantly less battery than Jarno, but doesn't look too close at the moment. Force India getting closer and closer as Flores moves out of the racing line. Try and get out the dirty air of Nardi's Williams. Can Jarno get closer to the Haas in front? Not quite. Go straight to Arnie Danny G, who's now been overtaken by the Ferrari of Alex. And Freak is now dropped to 17th, battling Jay Thorne down there. And Flores moves up to 3rd position. So a really good start for Flores, who's at times shown brilliant pace, but has just made some really strange strategy and on-track decisions which have cost him big results. But so far so good. In terms of the strategy, he's in the best position at the moment. I mean, look at Jarno. He's proven to be a real pest to the race leader. And oh, Epic goes really deep into the hairpin, and that could put him under threat from Jarno. It's a sign the Hypersofts are already starting to go off a little bit. Hypersofts have the best performance of the tyres, but they don't have the best wear, being the fastest compound available. Epic and Jarno throwing their cars through, almost hitting the wall of champions on the right hand side, but getting away with it. Aresi pits. Alex picks up a 3-second time penalty. Let's have a quick look down the order for a brief moment. Michael up to 8th now. It's past Danny MG. Danny MG has lost a few places from the start of the race. So the closest battle on track looks like to be between the McLaren and the Ferrari of Alex. Old school battle here. McLaren and Ferrari used to be the top 2 teams at the top of the sport. One team is still there, the other team's gone backwards in real life, unfortunately. As the DRS opens, lap 5 of this 35 lap race on AOR Tier 1 on PS4. Michael, oof, getting a bit of understeer out of the corner, but he's now closing in on Alex, and Alex himself is closing in on Ollie D. Another lock-up from the Ferrari up ahead. Michael doing a really good job so far. Started P11, he's already gained 3 places. Hasn't got much battery to play with though, so that could be a factor later on. He's going to have to do some saving at some point. Through the final section of corners they go. Can Michael get a run? He's got no battery really to use. He's going to put the overtake on. Try and get closer. Jarno is really close. Epic Gamer. We're going to stick on this for a few more moments. What about Alex behind? No movement there. So we will go straight back to the front. Jarno, as close as he has been to the house of Epic Gamer. Oh, and Flores picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's unfortunate. It's so close to the field. Any penalties, which are very easy to pick up here, could have a huge effect on the final outcome of this race. Look how close Deagle is to Nardi, and that's a terrible camera view. We'll switch away from that straight away. But Deagle, to the Ultrasoft runners of Flores and Deagle, doing a really good job at the moment in the top 5. Look how close it is. Oh, and Deagle nearly hitting the back of the Williams. I think the Hypersofts are starting to go off a little bit. Let's have a look at Flores. Flores is now closing in on Jarno, who didn't get the best exit out of the hairpin, but he still has DRS to use in aid of his defence. Through the final corner they go. And a 5-second stop-go penalty for Nardi. It's a very nasty pit entry because you're going at full speed, then you have to hit the brakes, but Nardi gets a 5-second stop-go penalty. So if he has to stop again, he'll have to serve 5 seconds before getting his tyres changed, or he'll get that 5 seconds added at the end of the race. So either way, at a track like this, which is such a short lap, where it's hard to regain time, regaining those 5 seconds to put himself back on the podium looks highly unlikely, unless of course the rest of these drivers get penalties themselves, as Aresi sets the fastest lap on the race on fresh Ultrasofts. But we haven't seen that much overtaking so far. It's been a lot of and both Jarno and Flores. Jarno, a fair whack on the right hand side of the car. I wonder if he got damaged. Let's have a look. No damage on the end plates. Oh, and a slight love tap from Flores on the rear of that Force India. But no harm done. But Deagle is playing himself nicely here into contention. He's just going about his business, hasn't really been in any action so far, but he's done really well so far. Let's okay. Oh, and it's a poor exit, and almost all 3 of them went into the 4 chances. It's 6 seconds of penalties now for Flores, so he's really not doing himself a good service so far. He's in such a good on-track position, but those penalties put him more like almost outside the top 10. So let's have a look then at the stops. Only 4 stops so far, and in terms of the position changes, Michael is certainly one of the big winners here. 6 places gained from the first lap, and he's past Ollie D, who's right behind him. Freak is slowly making his way through the field. I'm gonna have a quick look actually down the order just to see how he's doing. Here, Freak going side by side with the Williams of Alberto, who's just been overtaken by Tim Palmer. Oh, nearly getting squeezed to the wall. And here comes Freak, the championship leader, trying to regain a place, and he's finally back into the points. It's taken him 8 laps, but he's there. He gets a horrible exit though out of that chicane. It's such a difficult set of corners. And look at that, diving to the outside, but surely the inside Freak will have the advantage, and he gets the better traction with the Ultrasofts out of the corner. But who's got the DRS? I think the DRS as Freak's got DRS as well. So here comes, can the Renault get back past the Mercedes? Michael pits then. That's an early pit stop on the Ultrasofts. As Freak picks up, and he's hit the wall. Just going to have a look at Michael quickly. Is that a wing change? No, it's not. What's he changing to? It's a set of super soft, so he's looking for some clean air, clearly. So that's interesting. Freak has got past Jay Fawn as well. And now Freak's next target for the championship leader is to get past the Red Bull of Tim Palm. So here comes Freak. It should be a very easy pass on Palm, and it is. Up to 8th he goes. We're going to head straight back to the front, because just in time we see a dive down the inside by Flores on Jarno. And that is a clear sign that the Hypersofts are really trailing off, and I think Jarno is going to find it really difficult to defend from Deagle just behind. But I suspect Jarno might be pulling into the pits now. Will he do so? No, he won't. He's going to carry on. So he's clearly looking to eke these Hypersofts out a little bit longer and then stop on the Super Soft. So I think the one stop looks to be the favoured strategy so far. Ollie D and Alex coming into the pits. Let's see what tyres they're going on. Oh, and Danny picks up a 5-second stop-go penalty. Another victim of that tricky braking zone to get into the pit lane. As Deagle Killer looks to try and get past Jarno Racing, who looks to be really struggling for rear traction. And Epic Gamer, it has to be said, isn't looking too good on his hypersofts either. Here comes Flores as RC Alonso sets the fastest lap of the race so far. Very fitting to see someone called Alonso on the day that we've had today in Formula 1. Can Flores look for another move down the inside of the hairpin? He did it a lap ago, and he is going to go for it again. He goes really deep, incredibly deep, and he's going to lose place, all contact. And Epic Gamer has been knocked to the side. It's like a drunk jab. Epic Gamer will be behind, and will he be pitting now? Is he going to look for a dive down the inside? And they go into the pit lane, and Flores as well. These Ultrasofts are not lasting as long as I thought they would. So Deagle takes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix here in AOR Tier 1 on PS4. Let's see what tyres they go on. Epic Gamer will be trying desperately to get back out in front of the McLaren ahead. Straight fight between the pit crews. And is that a wing change for Flores? I think it is, you know. And here comes Michael, who pitted a few laps ago. Is he going to get in front of some of these guys? And he is. He gets in front of Epic Gamer. So what a brilliant undercut by Michael. He's got out in front of Epic Gamer. So that was fantastic work from the McLaren driver. Moresi is actually between Epic Gamer and Jarno, so Jarno won't be happy about that. He's got a bit of traffic to try and get past. Moresi probably won't be pitting for a good while yet. He came in earlier for a wing change, so it'll be a few laps yet. So Jarno's got a bit of a job on his hands to get back past. Let's have a look up the order a little bit. Now Curly Whirly had a qualifying session to forget, an embarrassing mistake by the Ferrari driver, putting him well outside the top 10, but now he's going onto the positive action. He's going to try and pass the Renault of Alberto. Alberto goes defensive to the right, trying to force the Ferrari around the outside. This will be a great pass if he gets it done, and Curly does in fantastic style, brilliantly executed there. He had very little room to manoeuvre with Alberto's fair but robust defending, but Curly with a great move there into the chicane and somehow got it slowed down as Alberto gets all sorts of wheel spin out of turn 2. So your top 10, Deagle, Alex, Freak, Palm, J-Form, Curly Whirly, Alberto, Nardi, Michael and Epic Gamer. But in terms of the pit stops, none of the top 7 have pitted yet. So your net leader at the moment is Nardi. Although Nardi looks to be going on a 2-stop strategy there. But don't forget, also has 5 seconds for a stop go that he'll have to serve if indeed he pits again. So I would say Nardi not really in contention for the win at the moment. Now, any battles on track we can look at that are really close. Now what about Epic Gamer and Michael? Because in terms of the battle for the lead, this could be an important one. What about behind? Jarno trying to challenge Aresi, but not at the moment. Epic Gamer weaving to the right, trying to put Michael off. So Nardi picks up another time penalty. And Deagle pits then. And he's going to be undercut massively by these 4. He's only just coming out of the pit lane now. Let's see where he slots in. So I think he's going to be just behind Ollie D and Jarno. Yes, just behind them. And Alberto has left the session, so a disconnect for the Renault driver. Unlucky there. It does happen, unfortunately, from time to time. Let's have a look at Epic Gamer. Trying to select it. There we go then. So they'll get past Alberto's ghosting car. So Epic trying to use the fresh rubber, try and get a move on Michael. Now Michael will get DRS from that Renault, but now he's in a sort of dead zone and gets a horrible exit out of the chicane. Here comes Epic Gamer. He's going to try and go for a move round the outside of the hairpin. Michael's going to have to cover him off with a dive to the inside. They're going to make slight contact. Fair wheel banging there. Very good driving from both, actually. Contact was minimal, despite the speed they were taking into that corner. And now they're going side by side once again up ahead. Curly Whirly and J-Fawn having a great battle. We're going to keep an eye on this one. And there you go, Epic Gamer out dragging the McLaren into the open corner, and he'll get a double DRS. But can Michael come back at him into the opening corner, go for a lunge down the inside? We saw some great moves from one McLaren driver but can Michael? No, he can't come back at him for the time being. So Williams, Alex has done 13 laps on those super softs. Freak has done 13 laps on the ultra softs, so he's by far made the ultra softs last the longest out of those who started on them. So a really good effort from the championship leader, and that may put him into play later on in this race. He'll have fresher super softs at the end of this race to play with, although he will be significantly behind, so he's going to have to get some overtaking done if he's going to get a positive result, because it looks like to me at the moment it's a bit of a damage limitation job for the championship leader. Meanwhile up ahead, J4 battling away with Nardi and Curly. It's not really going well for Nardi so far. He's got quite a few penalties. Nardi trying to get back out ahead of the Ferrari of Curly, but no, not able to do it. And meanwhile right behind, Epic Gamer has been repassed by Michael as Aresi picks up another time penalty. So Michael and Epic, this could be the battle to watch for the rest of this race in terms of the fight for the lead. Nardi has got back out in front of Curly using DRS on the main start finish straight. There's been so much action so far, it's been great to see. Freak pitch then from second place. Where is he going to feed out? He's gone on to the super soft, so the one stop strategy here looks to be, apart from Aresi and Nardi didn't have damage but looks to be going for a two stop. He's never going to reach the end on that set of ultra softs. So with those penalties, Nardi not really a factor based on how the strategies are played out at this point. So then let's look at the Ferrari Curly braking into the hairpin as we reach lap 15. We're not far off half distance here then at Canada. Now Aresi has actually been holding up Jarno and Deagle for some time, but look, here we go. Jarno looking to make a move down the inside, but not quite close enough. He's getting DRS off Epic Gamer ahead. That's the reason why he's struggling a little bit. Look up ahead, Michael looking to make a move down the inside of Jay Fawn, and behind him off track Aresi's fight to keep Jarno behind is finally over, and I think Deagle's going to get through as well. No, not quite. So it's all happening. The top 10 is starting to take shape as more people pit. Freak has come out and he's in P14 just behind Alex, so he's got some work to do. There's not many cars left to pit in this race, it has to be said. Only 4 left to pit. That's Curly and Jay Fawn and the top 2. Look at this gaggle of cars, they're so close to each other. Jay Fawn loses another place to Epic Gamer, and can Jarno come back down the inside? Yes, here comes Jarno, the Force India, diving to the inside and taking P7 if he can get the power down. We're going to go on board Deagle to get a good view of everything that's going on here between these 4 cars. Ollie D just behind, and Flores. This is a really, I guess you could call it the Nardi train at the moment, because so many cars split by less than a second. Curly less than a second behind, and Michael, Epic Gamer, Jarno, Jay Fawn, Aresi, Deagle, Ollie D and Flores all within a second of each other. Slightest bit of contact may prove absolutely costly for one of these drivers. They will lose so many places. As Aresi picks up another time penalty and hits the wall for good measure, but gets no damage. Deagle getting a little bit frustrated behind this Toro Rosso, because he's got the likes of Ollie D and Flores breathing down his neck. He's got to try and get past him soon. He might have to think about a move at the hairpin. And Michael continues his astonishing progress through the field, passes Curly Whirly. Let's have a look again at Deagle. Can Deagle finally get past Toro Rosso? He's had enough. He's coming through, whether the Toro Rosso likes it or not. Ollie D is going to try and get past the Toro Rosso as well. They're going to go side by side, at least momentarily, on the run up on the back straight. And Deagle's going to try and make it 2 out of 2 here to get past the Sauber of Jay Fawn. Jay Fawn down the inside of the hairpin and picks up a time penalty. Took a bit too much of the curb, and race control did not like that whatsoever. So now Michael's within 1.2 seconds of Nardi's Williams, so that's the next battle. And now Curly, look how many battles are going on here. This I did expect to be an exciting race, and it's certainly living up to that billing so far. So Curly hasn't pitted, up against Epic Gamer, who has much fresher tyres. Remind you what tyres everybody on. Virtually the whole field on Supersofts, except for Nardi, Aresi and RC Alonso. But Williams Nardi will be pitting soon. His Ultrasofts will certainly be going off soon. But Alex and Tim Palm, the top two, haven't pitted, have had really good first stints on those Supersofts. They're still going strong. Let's have a look at Aresi behind. Aresi being trying to overtake J Form, but actually now he's under attack from Ollie D. And Flores, well, Flores earlier on was making some good overtakes, but he had to replace his wing. This is why he's in P12. He's going to try and get back past here. By this time, Ollie D takes the move from Aresi. There could still be more action to come here. Four cars going through the opening section of corners. So close. There's no real room for error. Look at that, J Form getting poor traction on his old tyres. 18 laps he's done on those Supersofts, just as Curly, Palm and Alex have done. But they've still got more to go before they can switch to the Ultrasofts to finish this race. But you know, they're not going to have many laps really to make those tyres work. And Curly now being overtaken on the outside with the DRS. So Deagle now up to P7. So at the moment the top three will be pitting. So your net leader is Michael, then Epic Game and Jarno and Deagle. And then there's a significant gap further down to Ollie D, because he's still got a few cars to get past. So where is Michael? Let's have a look at Michael. Michael's now closing in on Williams Nardi, who finally pits. So Williams Nardi has clearly got the wrong strategy today, and he'll be well down the order. So Michael into the podium, definitely looking like an incredible performance from Michael. And as it stands, he'll be retaking the lead of the championship, because Freak, the championship leader who won the Monaco Grand Prix in such brilliant fashion last week, is still out of the points. But Michael pitted slightly earlier for the Supersofts than the likes of Epic Gamer, Jarno and Deagle, and got a great undercut, and that allowed him to get ahead of Epic, and he's got 1.5 second advantage. Whether he will suffer some pain later on remains to be seen. But these Supersofts do go a long time, especially as it seems Alex and Palmer have almost done 20 laps on them already. So any other battles? Well, Flores getting very close in the midfield, very close indeed to the Toro Rosso. Down the inside, another lunge, really deep though, and that could leave him. And here comes Freak. Freak trying to come back, and he's passed him as well, and he could get 2 in 1 here. Ill-advised dive really from Flores, but if he can defend this place, he can certainly get it done. It was a desperate move to get past Aresi, and in the end he does. And into the pits comes a lot of cars. Alex, Tim Palm. So now we get the net leaders, but we're going to have some fast Ultrasoft runners behind the top 10 looking to get some good points. Freak has recovered then to P7. So his first stint proving to be really effective, and don't rule him out from getting onto the podium. If he can show the kind of pace he has in previous races, get past the likes of Flores, there's not big gaps in the top 7, so really this race is not over by any stretch of the imagination, as Ollie D attacks Curly Whirly, who, don't forget, hasn't pitted yet. So Freak will be gaining another position here very shortly once Curly pits. Curly, I believe, is the last driver to have not pitted. Alex has come out in P9 on the Ultrasofts, but he'll have a big tyre advantage. So Alex will be making a charge. His first target will be to get past the Toro Rosso of Aresi. So here comes Ollie D. Curly Whirly out of DRS range of Jarno ahead, so now he's going to have to put a defence on. Now the fact that he's going to left, I would suggest that's because Curly is about to make a pit stop, and that's exactly what he's doing. So Curly pits then, the final pit stop of the race, I believe, unless someone gets damaged. Yep, indeed he is. So your top 10 at the moment: Michael, Epic Gamer, Jarno, Ollie, Flores, Freak, Aresi, Alex, and Alex again in the Ferrari, and Tim Palm making up the top 10. As Freak picks up a 3-second time penalty as he desperately tries to chase down Flores, and Flores has lots of penalties himself. So the McLaren of Flores in a bit of a Mercedes sandwich at the moment. The Freak, this has been a good recovery from him as well. As we look at the positions gained, he's gained 10, Michael's gained 10 as well. So the top two in the championship have had good recoveries after, shall we say, sluggish qualifying sessions by their high standards. Lock of the tyres from Flores up ahead as Tim Palm picks up a 3-second time penalty. But Alex has moved up to P7 since pitting, and he is on the ultra softs, don't forget. Now Flores trying to make a move on Ollie. He's got much more life on his tyres. Flores going around the outside. Can he get the car slowed down? Yes, he can, just about. But it's compromised his exit a little bit, and that may allow Ollie to come back at him. Will there be some team orders here between No, definitely not at the moment. Although Toto Wolff may be on the radio to Ollie D to let Freak through. He's got much fresher rubber at this moment in time. The gap between the top three kind of stabilising, just over a second, just outside of DRS zone. But as the wear goes on Michael's tyres, he may have to consider tyre saving a little bit to get these super softs to the end of the race. So Flores getting past one Mercedes, and Freak will be desperate to get past Ollie D and give chase to the McLaren. They're 3.6 seconds behind Jarno in the battle to get a podium position. The podium might be beyond these guys at the moment. So any other battles on track? Let's have a look at Jay Fawn. Actually, no, I'm going to stick with this. I think this is where the popcorn box seat may be in this race for the time being. Lap 23 then. What's been a highly entertaining race so far here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Both Mercedes getting DRS. Will there be any change in position? Not for the time being. And a fair thump of the Wall of Champions by Ollie D, but no harm done. Good thing it's not simulation damage, although otherwise that could have been a pretty big moment. Saw a battle going on up ahead. Well, that might have been a ghost car actually. But this battle continues then for P4. Yes, that is Danny's ghost Haas up ahead. We've had no actual on-track retirements, but I believe Alberto and Danny not in this race at the moment because they've disconnected. So we get a nice rear shot, and look at that! Look at that! Oh, Deagle Killer is out of the race. Oh no! Oh, that's the first. Well, commentator's cursed there a little bit, but I'm just going to mention Alex on the Ultrasoft has suddenly caught this gaggle of cars out of nowhere. It's like a marauding white shark trying to get these guys. And look at the two Mercedes going into combat now. This doesn't look like team orders at all. Ollie D doing no favours for his championship winning teammate at the moment. But Alex has the superior grip of those Ultrasofts, and he's going to bide his time and try and get past these cars, because with the pace he's got on those Ultrasofts and the fact that Jarno is not exactly galloping away, a podium may not be out of the question for Alex at the moment. It's going to be difficult to pass such a big group of cars, considering they get DRS. And and Alex picks up a 3-second time penalty. There's been so many penalties here. You don't even have to be quick at this track. If you can keep it clean and not get penalties, you can get a superb result here. Look how much Freak is pushing, hitting the wall slightly once again. Really on the line of between skill and disaster. As we get a great view of the hairpin, they all go down there and they're almost pushing the McLaren around the corner. Can Alex make an impression on these Mercedes with the superior grip of these Ultrasofts? Could be a free wide switch. We're just going to keep on board with the Williams, see what happens. That's another ghost car. That'll be distracting going into the chicane. Epic Gamer gets a 3-second time penalty, and that could be big for the battle for the lead. So I don't believe Michael has picked up any time penalties. So Epic Gamer's chances of winning this race may have weakened significantly with that penalty, as Nardi picks up yet another time penalty. It's currently in P12. Just didn't get the right strategy today. But this battle for fourth has been absolutely brilliant to watch. Just get the sense the slightest bit of contact. Two of these cars could pitching well. What a view that is from the rear of the car, with Alex and Freak trying to get past Ollie D. Down the inside goes Freak. Up into 5th he goes. The championship leader finally gets past his teammates. Flores picks up yet another time penalty. So now Alex is going to try and get past as well, as we get that great view of the hairpin as well. Oh, Ollie going deep into the corner, nearly hitting his teammate. But the superior traction of the Ultrasoft should allow, with DRS, Alex to out-drag the Mercedes down this straight. But don't forget, Ollie's got DRS as well. Into the chicane Alex goes. He's got significantly less penalties, I think, than the drivers he's fighting at the moment. But he would really like to get past these two and try and make a last-ditch challenge to Jarno for the podium before his tyres go off completely, especially as he's got 3 seconds of time penalties as well. Frankly, there's so many penalties, I think we'd be here all day if I paused the game to check them all, so I'm not going to do that. I think we have a fairly good idea as Jay Thorne retires from the race. He was running outside of the points. Not a good day for Jay Thorne. Indeed, not a great day for the Sauber team in general, with RC Alonso currently in P16. Looks like he might be stuck in the pits, perhaps. So here we go then. Freak's got to get a move on because Alex is right behind him on those ultras. Oh, and another whack into the wall for Freak. He's leaving a charmed existence. He can't get away with too many more of those. Oh, look at that. Alex had a little look and that distracted Freak, and that forced him into an error. Now, can the Williams... I think the Williams was trying to get the toe of the McLaren, but Freak saw that and blocked it off. But his speed's been compromised. Can Alex go late on the brakes? He can't really... in normal circumstances, he could have gone late on the brakes, but because the McLaren was there, it sort of blocked his path off. And now that's allowed Freak to go on to the attack of the McLaren. And he's been shoved off, and there's a Toro Rosso coming out of the pits at the same time. It's a back marker, and it blocks Alex off completely. Purely accidental, but maybe the Toro Rosso should have had a bit more awareness and let that group of cars go through first, because he's not a lead car. Doesn't want to be a Esteban Ocon style back marker and cause a big accident. But that's allowed. I think Freak was about to be overtaken there, and look at that horrible exit. Oh, and Flores squeezes Freak to the wall. That was dangerous. Freak goes down the inside. Oh, and Flores cuts the corner clearly, and I think it's getting to Flores a little bit. Dives, well, sorry, goes late on the brakes round the outside, but he's not going to have much room there. Freak not in the mood to give him any space. Oh, this could end in tears. Let's hope it doesn't. It's going to be free wide. Going to get a perfect view of it from the cockpit of Ollie G. Free wide up ahead. Who's going to come out top? Free don't go into the chicane, and Alex is going to take both of them, and he does indeed. He takes both of them up to P4. What a move by Alex, absolutely brilliant. We got the perfect view from Ollie D of that freeway fight, and Freak still hasn't got past the McLaren. Got out dragged by the McLaren DRS, so Flores gained a place but then lost one immediately. But they've battled each other into submission. They've gained so many penalties. Epic Gamer's nearly in DRS range of Michael. Michael's super soft's going off, but he hasn't got 3 seconds of penalties. Epic Gamer does. And Flores goes defensive. Can't do anything about Alex now. Alex is going to sail off into the distance, you would think, unless he makes an unforced error into a wall somewhere. Very easy to do. At a short second. Oh, and a big wheel bang again between Flores and Freak. Flores will have the inside instead. He's going to try and dive to the inside. They both go really deep. Will that allow Ollie D to get back through? Oh, Flores in going on the traction. Ollie D's back in front of his teammate, and look at Tim Palm out of nowhere. Tim Palm's on the Ultrasofts, and it's going to be free wide again. Can Freak squeeze through? No, he can't. How there hasn't been a massive accident, I don't know. Got to give credit to these drivers for keeping their heads cool. Well, except maybe Flores, of course. He's driven with a bit of too much aggression in the last few laps. But Tim Palm could still be on for a great result here. And now we're going to go straight back to the front because Epic Gamer is in DRS range of Michael for the lead of this race, but he's only got 6 laps, including this one, to get past him and get 3 seconds of time to win this race, assuming he doesn't get any more time penalties. Epic Gamer takes the lead with ease, but I don't think Michael will mind that because he will get the DRS activation point here, and then he will get DRS for the following corner. I think we'll have a quick look at Flores again, because that seems to be the battle at the moment. Ollie D's got past. Look at that. Tim Palm looking to make a move down the inside. Once again, just going to have a quick look at Michael before we go back to this battle. Epic Gamer goes, look how much straight line speed Michael has. We're going to keep an eye on this battle. Let's have a look at Freak. Freak has passed Flores on the straight. Can he get it slowed down? Yes, he does. He's finally passed Flores. Straight back to Michael. Michael not able to get through. Now what about Tim Palm? Tim Palm, will he go for a late move to the inside with a superior traction of those ultra shots? Yes, brilliant dive, Daniel Ricciardo style, into turn 1, up to P7 he goes. Alex is 2.5 seconds behind Jarno Racing, and the battle for the lead has now become a three-way fight because the battling between Michael and Epic Gamer has allowed Jarno Racing to get within a second of these two. How much pace has he got left in these super softs? Both done over 20 laps, Ollie D as well. He's taken advantage of all that squabbling between Freak and Flores to move back up to P5, but he may not have much to defend with when Freak comes back at him. And Tim Palm, don't forget, is on the ultra softs and may still be able to see it. And don't discount Alex. Alex still has plenty of life left in these tyres, and he will be able to chase these guys down. It could be a four-way fight for the lead right at the end. So look at Michael trying to catch up to him. Not quite at the moment. Let's just have a quick look at Freak. Can Freak close in on his teammate? No, he can't. So Flores dropping further back. I think his day is done. I think P8's going to be he might not even get P8, to be honest. He's got so many penalties. I think Alex and Curly may get past him to get some decent points from Ferrari. Nardi's had a nightmare of a day. RC Alonso, he's had an awful day. So Epic Gamer trying to eke out a gap. It's really difficult to break the DRS here because there's 3 DRS zones, but that's a really good exit out of turn 6 by Epic Gamer. That may allow him to break the DRS because look at this, Jarno is now catching it, and I get that rear view again, which at times was really good, but I don't want that right now. And look at that, Williams Alex is now 1.5 seconds behind Jarno. So we are into the closing stages of what's been a thrilling Canadian Grand Prix, and how deep did Epic go there? But Michael just didn't have the tyres to take advantage. Yeah, Michael just doesn't seem to have the tyres anymore to chase down, and I think we'll go have a look at Freak, because Freak, I think, is trying to get past his teammate. Yep, DRS open, here we go. Epic Gamer gets another penalty. That's 6 seconds now, and surely any chance he has of winning this race, oh, gone. Here comes Epic Gamer. Oh, sorry, I meant Freak, the championship leader. It's been a great recovery from the back. Started 16th and he's now 6th, but if he can get another place, that would be valuable points. I think 4th is going to be beyond him. Free to go then, here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We're going to go straight back to the front because look at this. Look how close Jarno is. Michael is about to be demoted. I think Michael has no penalties. I think Jarno has 3 seconds if I'm correct. But there's been so many penalties. I do apologise if I forget some of them. I'd love like a ticker counter right in front of me just to see all the penalties coming, because then I could just quickly look. But Jarno trying to get past, and Free picks up another time penalty. And look, right behind them is the Williams of Alex. The battle for the podium is not over yet. 2.5 laps to go. And now Alex, if he can just make those old shots last a little longer, he may still be able to get on the podium. He might even be able to win the race even. Depends how many. I think he's got 3 seconds at least. Oh, and Jarno Racing picks up a 3-second time penalty. So if he didn't have any penalties before, he definitely does now. Michael is really struggling on those super softs now. He's done 25 laps on them. Freak has finally got past Ollie D. Apologies for not seeing that, but this fight here, it's really come alive. It's been an absolutely fabulous race here at Canada. And here comes Williams Alex. He's going to try and go for a move on the inside. No, didn't quite have the space to do so. But look at that, Michael's got no grip whatsoever on the rear to put the power down, and that's opening the door for Alex. Alex is going to try and squeeze through. Will he get the move done as we get a view of the front wing? Yes, he will. And look how quick he's gone, like a rocket. And I fear Michael, over the next lap and a half, maybe dropping more places, but luckily with the penalties he may still get on the podium. But he's now got Freak may catch him on the final lap. So then here we go then, Epic Gamer about to start the final lap of this AOR Tier 1 on PS4 Canadian Grand Prix. Well, the next lap or so could be a dramatic conclusion. Here comes Alex. He's going to try and go around the outside. Will he have the better tyres? And yes, with ease. Great braking by Alex. Jana had no answer. Can Alex catch Epic Gamer in one lap and win the race on track at least? It's a dramatic conclusion. Michael is dropping more time and Freak is within DRS range of him now. Palm is attacking Ollie D for P6. Outside the top 10, Nardi has got past Alex to get the final point in theory, but there's still a lot of penalties to be added. But Epic Gamer made just enough. Oh, he nearly spins off the wall, but just about gets away with it. Michael is under attack from Freak though. It's not going to be close enough, so Michael is no, he's outside DRS range. He's going to be attacked, but here comes Epic Gamer. I don't think Epic Gamer is going to win the race. He's got 6 seconds of penalties. Will it be Alex who wins this race? So many penalties and Freak is overtaken, but here we go then. It's going to be Epic Gamer who takes the checkered flag to win this race, but will he do it after the penalties have been given? At the moment it's Alex who wins it, Jana who wins it, it's Michael who wins it. Yes, Michael has won the Canadian Grand Prix. My goodness, he must not have had any penalties. Michael has won the race and retaken the lead of the championship. Oh, what an incredible conclusion. Absolutely brilliant race that was. We didn't know who the winner was. There was like 3 or 4 different winners as they crossed the line, and so close was the field. They've already all crossed the line, but Michael, despite having the worst tyres of the top 6 at the end, there's a lesson there to be learned. He has taken the victory because he had less penalties. It's so hard to keep clean here at Canada. Speed you have to take through some of the corners means it's so easy to corner cut. But your top 3, and actually I think Tim Palm might have got into the top 3 in the end. We'll check after the podium celebration as Michael celebrates his victory and his retaking of the lead of the championship. But what a race that was. That was so enjoyable. Well, let's confirm your provisional result then for the Canadian Grand Prix in AOR Tier 1 on PS4. Michael taking the victory, no penalties whatsoever, and getting his fair reward. Jana Racing taking second, and Tim Palm from P14 getting a podium with only 3 seconds of penalties. Alex gave a wonderful performance, but too many penalties means he doesn't get on the podium. P4, Ollie D in 5th, Epic Gamer in 6th, Carl Alex in 7th, and Freak actually dropping down to 8th with 15 seconds of penalties. Curly in 9th, Nardi in 10th, and Flores, well, 24 seconds of penalties. It's been a day to forget for him. Clarkey in 12th, and I think Clarkey was actually the final finisher on track, unless RC Alonso was still in the flag. But yeah, Michael thoroughly deserving of that victory today. And I think you'll agree that was an absolutely brilliant race at Canada, which it so usually is when it is a dry race here. Well, the big story out of that is that we have a change of the lead at the top of the standings once again. Michael retaking the lead of the championship, Deagle retiring, so Freak will still be second in the championship. Alex, I'm trying to figure out, I think Alex will actually be up to 3rd in the championship, so a really good day for him. Well, that is it. We're not going to have any interviews this evening because it was a bit last minute, but I hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and we will see you next week for round 8, which will be at the Circuit Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. Thanks for watching AOR, and see you next time.